Welcome back, everyone, to the Monday Morning Solution podcast. And today's topic that I wanted to talk upon was manifesting your goals the right way. To be honest, I had no plans of creating this episode, but the idea just struck me yesterday because I was eating and stuffing my mouth with so much food because I'm trying to gain weight. And while I was eating that food, this painful memory of mine kind of like flashed back to me, and it was just so emotional at that moment for me to go through uh, the entire episode of me trying to remember how it actually happened and what I had to go through. And that's when I finally decided that I wanted to make this episode about how you should actually approach manifesting, because now like manifesting is kind of like the new hot girl in school where everyone is talking about, you should manifest your own goals, manifest your ambitions. If you just manifest, you're going to get this and that. And it's like, huh, what's the science behind it though? Like, it manifestation in itself sounds like a little bit woo woo, and it's like, yeah, I know I want to manifest stuff, but like, how do I actually manifest it? It's like there is no written guideline to actually go and manifest whatever you want. People just say, yeah, you know what, speak sentences of affirmation to yourself when you wake up in the morning, or write it down in a journal when you wake up in the morning. I've done all of those things, and trust me, they are kind of like in the process of doing that, but they don't necessarily do the whole job. So I need to start this episode with a story, the story that I actually remembered yesterday while having my lunch. And the story starts in August 2023, last year. I landed here in the United States. I was an international student, and I was indoctrinated by everyone back home that there was this specific guideline or like a specific SOP that all international students have to follow as soon as they land here in the United States. And and for me, I I was told by everyone. So as soon as I landed here in the United States, I consulted my seniors. I consulted a lot of friends who had completed their education here in the US prior to me, and everyone had this same the same rule book. They said as soon as you land here in the US, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take your butt and go to every single one of the part-time job outlets or like any place on campus that is going to offer you a part-time job, and you're supposed to go to their doorstep and start asking them for a job. Like, that's the SOP. Like, that's the first thing that you need to do as soon as you come to the United States. No one actually tells you that, okay, how do you tackle the weather? How do you tackle the food? How do you tackle your education? How do you grow yourself as a person rather than doing all of these menial jobs? But no, like the first thing you need to do is to go to different part times, like to basically all the different outlets, all the different coffee shops, all the different stores on campus, and go and ask them if they have a part time job. And that's exactly what I did. So I land here in the US. I don't do anything for a week because I'm trying to figure out my accommodation. I was staying in an Airbnb. I still did not have this apartment that I am staying in right now. And what I did was I did not do anything for a week. So after a week, one of my friends, she's a really good friend of mine, and nothing against her, obviously. She says that you need to go and start asking for a part time job as soon as possible because you're already late. And I'm like, the semester hasn't even begun yet. How am I late? So, next day, I go and I start asking for this part time job everywhere. So for any of the listeners from India or US who have never actually been in this kind of a situation, the way it works is that you have to walk into each and every single store. You need to ask for the manager, and then you need to ask them if they have an opening for a part-time job. And that's like a standard thing to do from like all the different places in the entire world. But the funny part is, like, every single day that you go there, they're gonna make some excuse, and they're gonna say that, hey, you know what, the manager is not here today. Hey, you know what, we are not hiring. Or they're gonna, or the worst part is, like, they're gonna just keep on delaying. They're gonna say, why don't you come tomorrow? Why don't you come on Monday? Why don't you come on Thursday? And the cycle just keeps on going. And the sad part was that no one from amongst all of the people that I knew actually thought of something outside the box or thought of something to do other than this. They were just like, yeah, you just keep on showing up. That's what I was told. I was told that, hey, you know what? You keep on showing up until you get the job. And to be honest, a lot of things in life are accomplished by just showing up, but this was not the thing that I would definitely do. Like, to show up just to get a part-time job that you are gonna end up hating in the long run. So that aside, on I think the third day of my job hunt, I was already frustrated because every single day I was going to like multiple shops, multiple stores, and it was I was at a point where I was about to break because I grew up in a very lovely household, and my parents never actually uh for like they never actually made me beg that much for anything in my life. Like, I was provided all of the basic necessities. I was not the whole pampered and like spoiled kid, but I was provided with everything that you would need to grow up, all the basic necessities that I would need. So doing this was so humiliating for me in a way. And this one day, I walk into the one of the restaurants that was on campus, and it was actually a food joint, not exactly a restaurant. But I go and I ask for the manager, and luckily this time the manager was there. So I wait for 5 minutes and the manager comes out, and then I ask the manager, hey, do you have like a part-time job for me here? And to my surprise, he actually said, you know what, I think I might have something for you. And in that one moment, in that one single moment, I was actually elated. I was like, finally, something. So he tells me that I need someone, I need a guy on one of my other food joints, which is a food on wheels kind of a thing, kind of a food truck. And I was shattered in that moment. I was like, I just thought for a second that I would have a part-time job on campus. And now this guy tells me that I need to go somewhere else, which I am not legally allowed as an international student to do. So he tells me, I need a guy to be on the food truck, and would you be willing to do that? And immediately I'm like, hey, you know what? I cannot work. I cannot work on a food truck. I need to be working on campus. So I say that to him, and he says, man, I'm so sorry. I don't have any position open right here. And in that moment, I don't know what got into me. And this is something, like, I'm not gonna lie, I had to do so much work on myself to face this one particular moment of my life, because I feel so different and I'm so evolved compared to the person I was when I first showed up here, that revisiting that memory again and again brings so much pain and discomfort to me that I had to like work voluntarily and intentionally to overcome that side of me. So I remember I was so so I was back then was also trying to gain weight because I showed up to US as a very shredded lean individual, and I was like, okay, now I need to like start putting on some weight because like I didn't want to be like super lightweight, all that stuff. So I remember telling him that, you know what, I need food to eat because I'm trying to gain weight. This is the exact words that I said to him. I said, hey man, I'm trying to gain weight. I need to eat a lot of food for that. and it's very expensive out there. Please, could you do something for me? And in that moment, I was so desperate that I made the hand gesture of wanting food. Like I did, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it here. But I made the hand gesture of wanting food, and he still, like, obviously, like, he couldn't do anything because he didn't have an opening. And at that moment, I realized what I had done. I went home, I called my mom, I called my dad, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. This is just too traumatic for me. And then I asked them for a and I asked my parents to give me like a semester until December end to figure out what I wanted to do with the whole part-time job and financial situation. And I was like, I'm going to use money from the education loan as funds to like survive through the next 6 months. And then by the end of that, actually 4 months, and by the end of December, if I have not made any progress in the things that I want to do, I'm going to get a part-time job. And the reason why I remembered this story yesterday was because I am currently shoving down so much food down me that it actually made me realize that there was a point in my life when I was asking someone to give me a job so that I can earn enough money to eat the amount of food that I am eating right now. And for me, that is manifestation. Because this is not just a story, but the work that I have put in from that day, from August 2023 to September or October 2024. That is the work that I've put in, which manifested the whole result. And you see what majority of the people who follow me on my YouTube or Instagram, they know that in December 2023, I actually got my dream job, which was like working at the recreational facility of University of Florida. And there is this quote from Steve Jobs. He says that you cannot he says you can only live life forwards, but you can only analyze it backwards. So at some point in your life, you need to have faith that at some point in your life, all the dots will join. Everything will make sense at some point in your life. And when I look back on that day, now it all makes sense. Why I did not get any of the dining jobs on campus, that led to me getting a associate position with the operations department, and then me being promoted the next semester as the supervisor within the operations department. And now I'm sitting here being in a position, and I'm super grateful for that, but I'm in a position where I worked full time through the entire summer to save up enough money that I can leverage that money to buy back my time. And now I'm not working as many hours. I'm using that time to build my own dreams, to work on projects that I want to work on, to spend that money on food, supplements, everything that is going to help me in my recovery, become a better athlete, gain muscle mass, all of those things. And now when I look back, I realized that I manifested it. I manifested the life that I wanted to live. But when I say this, what people often don't realize is the amount of effort that went in to manifesting that goal. And I want to share another story before I actually give you the whole blueprint of how I did those things. So, as you guys know, that I am a learning video editor. I consider myself a constant learner of storytelling, uh, articulating my speech better, and on the same side, being able to improve my skills with actual editing videos for other businesses, meaning like in the way that I can use my creative insights to build advertisements for other businesses. So In October 2023, which was exactly like a year ago, I met this guy. His name was Cory. So he was doing calisthenics at one of the gyms that I had a membership, which is the Crunch gym that I usually go every single day. And I saw him, I talked to him, got to know him, and then he kind of invited me to uh, a calisthenics workshop, which was like a free event at a gym, which was close to my house at that point, and it was on Saturday. So I went to the gym, and I had my phone on me. So what I did was, as soon as I went there, everyone was practicing doing the swings, they were practicing doing muscle ups, pull ups, and it was such a good vibe. Like I loved the gym. It was more like a garage gym, and the gym was just bought by the new owners of like it was just sold to a new set of owners, and I did not meet them the first time I went there. So I go to the gym, I take out my phone, and I start recording. And at that point, I had already started my YouTube channel, so I was already a in progress learner of the video editing art. So I take out my phone and I start capturing some footage. And I go home, I put the footage together, and I created this small video of that gym. And I posted it on Instagram, and I tagged the gym. So the story behind this was, when I called my mom that day after experiencing that traumatic event, I told my mom that, hey, I'm trying to become a good video editor and I'm trying to explore other domains that might help me make some money in the future. And and when I recorded that video, my intention was to get a paid gig with that gym because I just saw like an opportunity there. I saw that maybe if I did a good job, maybe I can help promote the business and get a paid gig with them. So I record the video, edit the video, and then I post it on Instagram. And fortunately, the owner of the gym reached out to me and she was like, hey, we love the video. Do you mind if we repost it? And I was like, sure. So they reposted the video, and then that's how I created this relationship that I have with them right now. So I start going to the gym often now. I start going there, recording the athletes, clicking pictures, posting photos. In January or February of 2024, I bought this camera, and now I had like a professional look to me. I was actually clicking good pictures. I was clicking all of their athletes, and then I was also recording videos at the same time. And by May of 2024, I had built this beautiful relationship with both, like, the owner of the gym are Eddie and Bree. They are husband and wife, and they are these beautiful and loving creatures. And I just love them to death. So I have created this beautiful relationship with them till date. And May of 2024, Bree finally reaches out to me and she says, hey, we need to make a video for our website. And I want you to help me, and we are willing to pay you for this gig. So from October all the way till May, I I think I shot like 5 to 6 good videos for them and gave it to them without any charge. Like I was just giving away. Like I used to show up, I used to click pictures, I used to talk to them, I used to network, and for 6, 7 months I was doing it all for free. And then from May to July, for the 2 month period that we were actually working on this project, we were shooting the video, we were rehearsing the lines, we were scripting new lines, and the whole process was so amazing. And at the end of the second month, I had finished the video. But here's the thing, since it was my first video editing gig, I had no clue about how to set the price. And I had no one to actually call up and ask, hey, how do you set the price of a video editing gig? And this is the video that I've made. They're going to use it for their website. How do I quote them? I had no idea. So I just asked some of my friends in my workplace, and I showed them the video and I asked them, hey, how much do you think someone should pay for something like this? And they all threw in different numbers. And I literally took the average of all of those numbers and I was like, I'm going to quote him this price. And I remember being so nervous about it because I had all these thoughts shooting in my mind. And I was like, what if they think that I'm overcharging them? What if I end up ruining my relationship with them? What if they are not willing to pay me at all? What if they are going through a financial crisis and maybe they might not pay me? And I was just ruminating and swimming in that ocean of unnecessary thoughts. So one day, at that point, I had already started practicing journaling. So one day I wake up, that the day I was going to go and deliver the video, I wake up that day, I go sit beside the pool, and I open up my journal, and I start typing down. And there is this technique that I use, and I actually wrote a blog about it today. So make sure you guys check out that blog on my website, themondaymorningsolution.com. Getting back. So I start writing the journal entry, and the technique that I use is called visualizing the worst case scenario. So you write down the worst that could happen in a given situation, the worst possible scenario. And when you are done with that, you take your time and you make peace with that situation by then analyzing the positives that came from the journey and not the end goal. So in this case, let's say the worst case scenario was, what if I don't get paid at all? I wrote that down and I started looking at all the beautiful things that I had experienced till that point. I got to attend multiple social nights with them, multiple bonfires. I celebrated Halloween with them. I found someone who I can call my mentor. I was being welcomed at a gym in a foreign country and I could work out there free of charge. I had created this wonderful relationship with these two amazing people who taught me a lot about how to run a brick and mortar business, about how to be a better human. And I started writing down all of these positive points. And it instantly made me feel so much better. I was because I had already received the reward for my hard work. Like the money that would come was a bonus on top of the things that were already given to me. A beautiful relationship, a gym to work out at, people that I can call my family, attending social gatherings with them, being a part of community that I could actually call home. And I decided that nothing, no amount of money that he could pay me was more valuable compared to what I already have from them. So I go and I quote him the price, and I am so nervous while doing that. But as soon as I tell him the cost, the next second he's like, how do you want me to transfer that money to you? And in that moment, I had bliss. I just realized that the promise that I made to my mom in October of 2023, telling her that I'm going to make my first dollar by editing videos for others, it took 6 months to manifest that goal. 6 months. 6 months of hard work and giving without the expectation of getting. And finally, I got paid. And I remember, like, the funny story is, like, I remember when I started recording videos and editing those videos for other people, I was not getting paid at all. So one day I was talking to this girl who was my senior, and she asked me, like, hey, are you getting paid for these videos? And I was like, no, I'm not getting paid right now, but I am planning to ask for money as I get more experienced. And she says that, yeah, you should maybe start with like $30 and $40, and then people are gonna pay you that money for a single video for like 30 seconds or 1 minute, right? And I was like, no, are you kidding me? People are getting so much more for like video editing, and they're getting paid a lot more than $30 and $40. And she goes to me saying, but who's gonna pay you that much? No one is going to pay you that much money. It is impossible. You should start small. So the price that I actually quoted my mentor, my friend, was $600. I got paid $600 for my first video editing gig, my first one. And people think that that $600 was just earned in a span of 2 months by dedicating a couple of hours here and there to edit the video and record it. No. Those $600 were the reward of me putting in 7-8 months of work into building that relationship. And that is how manifestation works. Manifestation is patience multiplied by hard work. You need to be patient with your goals, and you need to keep putting in the work. So those were the two stories that made me believe in this world that manifestation actually exists. But it also made me realize that majority of people get it wrong. Majority of people don't understand what manifestation actually is. You see, I'm still a student. It's not like I've become a millionaire, or like I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in my bank account, or I'm living the best life out there. But you don't need all of those things to experience these moments of bliss, these moments of truthfulness, and like the sheer will of the universe when you focus on one goal at a time. So to all the listeners who are listening right now, and to all the people who are watching this video on YouTube, here's how you do it. You need to have one specific goal. I was reading The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho the other day, and in that book there is this line that he says that when you have one singular desire and you put your everything in order to achieve that desire, the universe will conspire for you to achieve that goal. And that made me realize that I have already experienced that in the past. But the catch is that you can only have one desire at a time. You cannot say that, okay, I want the best girl to be with, or I want the best job, or I want to have the best physique. No, that does not happen. You need to have one specific goal, one specific mission that you want to go on. And you put everything you have in that one specific goal at that time. Write down your goals. The way I do it is that I have whiteboards, mini whiteboards that I got from Walmart. And I have written down my goals on these whiteboards around my room. So every single time I look at these whiteboards, I see all of these mini goals. But then there is this one whiteboard which is right next to my bed. And that has my one major goal. That one goal that all of my energy is focused on. And I want to achieve that one goal no matter what. You see, the thing with manifestation and the thing with achieving your goals, your desires, your ambition is that the only promise is the hard work that you will have to put in. You do not know if you will ever achieve that goal, if you ever will reach the plateau that you want to reach, or you reach the peak that you want to reach. And I don't mean this in a discouraging way. I am not being a critique over here. What I mean to say is that the work that you put in works on you more than you work on it. I'm going to repeat this again. The work works on you more than you work on it. So the development of character that you will experience while trying to manifest these goals, while trying to reach your best self, while trying to achieve that materialistic desire that you have always had is much more valuable than that end goal itself. And you need to understand that. It is all about maxing out your own character. What are you as a human being? Once you understand that, once your physical self and your inner self, which is your conscience, your soul, whatever you want to call it, are in line with each other and they resonate together, everything will be manifested. You can get anything you want as long as you keep working really, really hard. And remember what I said, manifestation equals patience multiplied by hard work. Now, hard work is something that is up to you. You can put in the work that you want, work as hard as possible. But the variable of patience, that is an unknown variable. You do not know the value of that. It can be 1 month, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, a decade. It can be anything. That is why I was so fixated on focusing on the work that is being done onto you to develop that inner character of yourself. And that's how I did it. I enjoyed every single part of that journey. I enjoyed working as an associate. I enjoyed becoming a supervisor. The 2 month period when I was working with the gym to create a video for their website, I enjoyed every single day of it. I enjoyed going to the gym, recording for them, making changes in the script, then editing the video, everything. And that was the best moment of my life. That is when I actually grew so much as a person. I got to know so many different skills. I learned so many different art forms. I learned how to become a better presenter. I learned how to be a better communicator. I learned how I could manage my time while working a full-time job and then doing this side hustle along with that. And these are the skills that make you the person that you want to be in the future. Just by waking up, looking into the mirror, and shouting lines of affirmation, you're not going to manifest your goals. You're not going to manifest your desires. You need to have a plan. You need to have a physical visualization of that goal. You need to write it down, keep it in front of you all the time. You need to put in the work day in and day out. There's a saying in US that I came across that people say, put your head down and keep chopping. Keep chopping the wood. Put your head down and keep chopping the wood. And that is how it is done. You need to put your head down, meaning focus on that one task, and you need to keep on executing on actions, one after the other, until there comes a point that you look up and you realize, man, I just chopped down the entire forest. That's how you need to do it. Of course, I don't mean any offense or like any disrespect to the environmentalists out there. I'm not talking about chopping down real forests. It's a metaphor. So this is how I did it, and this is how I would suggest you do it. And the very thing that will motivate you, the very thing that will help you get out of your bed the first thing in the morning and be full of joy, full of excitement, and full of vigor is having a specific purpose. The other day, I read this really awesome quote which said, specific ambition brings purpose and direction, but general ambition brings anxiety. I'm going to repeat it again. It said, specific ambition brings direction and purpose, but general ambition brings anxiety. You need to be extremely specific about your goal. You need to have the specific steps laid out. What is it that I'm going to do today? What is it that I'm going to do tomorrow? What is it I'm going to do a week after this? And when you have that purpose in your mind, life just gets more easier. Because as human beings, we are purpose-driven creatures. We need to have purpose. There was this study done amongst people who retire early or people who retire doing one specific job their entire lives. And they found out that amongst all of these old aged people, a lot of them ended up dying after their retirement way too soon because they did not have anything to do with their life. You can also find this in studies where people who focused and were actually committed to one single profession for majority of their life, when they lose their job or when they end up retiring, they have a very high death rate because they lose all of their purpose. They lose their mission. They lose the service that they were providing to other people in the community. And that is why it is so important to have purpose, because that purpose, that specific purpose, is going to help you manifest your entire goal. And that was it for today. That is what I wanted to share about manifesting your goals, your ambitions, your desire. Remember, the universe will conspire for you in your favor as long as you have one specific desire and you're putting in all of your energy, all of your work into accomplishing that one desire. I am not the woo woo kind of person, and I believe in logical thinking, and that is why I gave you the specific steps on how you need to do it. Write down your goals, keep them in front of you, visualize them at all times, and then make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have a step by step plan on how you're going to execute that mission, how you're going to do plan A, how you're going to do your research, how you're going to gather data, how you're going to work on that, how you're going to arrange different resources that are going to help you accomplish that goal. And once you have all these steps built up together, it becomes so much easier. Manifesting becomes so much easier because now you have a purpose, you have a mission, and you have the specific blueprint to carry out that mission. So that way, you do not have general ambition, which brings anxiety. You have specific ambition, which brings purpose and direction. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Monday Morning Solution podcast. I hope you guys liked it. Make sure that you press the follow button down there on Spotify. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, I want you to know that I've done a lot of hard work in order to get the background lighting right. And I'm learning every single day on how I can make the camera settings better and my speech better, just to make the user experience much more convenient and memorable for you guys. So hit that subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you so much again for watching this episode. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Have a good one.